And welcome to another Cardinals Nest here on HBC TV 25. This is where we talk St. Mary's University athletics. I'm Dean Beckman, along with our sports information director, Donnie Netto. And Donnie, last week we had Joe Fano on the program. He's our new head men's basketball coach, and so this is a season of newness in basketball, right? We've got David Foley on the program today. He's our new women's basketball coach. So, David, welcome to the program and welcome to St. Mary's.
Thanks for having me. Yeah, it's been an exciting start to the winter, and happy to be here today.
And hopefully, what happened last week, we had David on and Joe on, and Joe came up with the first win in his first game. So, Coach, when you guys kick off on Friday, hopefully we do the same thing for you.
Yeah, appreciate that.
So, David, we're going to start the program here by, sort of introducing you to our viewers, because you're new to St. Mary's, and I know you're still trying to meet a lot of people and get to know St. Mary's a little bit. Now, this is their chance to get to find out about you. Okay. So kind of take us way back. You grew up in Texas, right? And
yes,
so
sir.
Kind of take us back to your start in basketball. Tell us about your upbringing and how you got started in the basketball world.
Yeah, so I grew up in the suburbs of North Dallas. So basketball and athletics in general, and a lot of places, but Texas especially, where you got football and basketball played at a pretty high level, was just something that I was always around. The high school district that I grew up in was a very successful program for a lot of years. Had a couple NBA players come through and some big-time Division I players, so that was kind of a basketball community for us growing up. I was also a baseball player, so basketball and baseball was kind of a good combo there, with a lot of baseball in the summertime and then transitioning into basketball there. Was fortunate enough to have the talents to go play Division III basketball in Arkansas at Hendrix College. So I had a great 4-year Division III experience, played baseball in school as well, so I had a two-sport experience there, and got a great degree, had a great experience, and from then on it's been 9 years of college coaching, so I bounced around a little bit and lived a lot of different places. I'm definitely excited to be here.
How nice is it as a two-sport athlete yourself? You've got several of them on your team. Are you able to relate a little bit better because you've been through what they're going through in terms of, basketball gets over and boom, you're playing baseball right away? Does it help you as a coach to be able to have experienced that?
I hope so. I think that just the understanding and the love of it, and I chose to play Division III at the school I went to because they were going to let me do both. There's a lot of schools that you got to pick one or the other, but for me, that's what I always had done, and at the Division III level, to be able to be competitive and kind of continue my career in both was something I was really excited about. So to have student athletes right now, we've got 4 on our roster that are two-sport athletes. It's exciting. As the basketball coach, it's tough to sit and wait for volleyball season to be over, but for our softball players, we get them until we're done, and then they go to softball. And it's just the experience that I had in the two sports, having 2 teams, two brotherhoods of families, and the experiences, all the states we got to travel to and the places we got to go to. 8 seasons of college athletics was pretty special, and I hope that our players that have the opportunity to do that, whether they're one or two or 3 sport athletes, that they have that same kind of experience that I did.
I'd like to hear your thoughts. So many in youth sports, so many kids specialize now in one sport. I'd like to hear your thoughts on specialization. Obviously, you had a great 2-sport experience, and maybe you even played other sports. How did that benefit you?
Yeah, I think just to diversify yourself as an athlete, and the hand-eye coordination, the hand-foot or the eye-foot coordination. I played soccer a little bit growing up, and just to be a well-rounded athlete, I think, especially in the youth ages, is nothing but positive. And it also depends on what your goals are. Are you training to be a professional? If you have the abilities or the raw athleticism and talents to potentially be an NBA player, a WNBA player, or go to the NFL or whatever it may be, then hey, maybe it's you focus on that and work your way to that. But for just the common athlete that wants to have a great experience and wants to compete and be the best they can be, I definitely recommend and love those athletes that play multiple sports and have those multiple aspects of competitiveness throughout their year.
When did it hit you that you wanted to be a coach?
Yeah, I've gotten that question a lot, especially earlier in my career. So after I graduated in college, I had a business and economics degree with a kinesiology minor, and I wasn't 100% sure. I just always kind of been an athlete and was a good student, but didn't ever really put a ton of thought into, hey, this is what do I want to do for the rest of my life. I had things that I enjoyed and things that I thought I wanted to do. And when I graduated, I worked a few odd jobs. It was in sales and did some things in recreation. And then October 15th came around that next year, and I wasn't in practice, or I wasn't a part of a team. There wasn't that kind of feeling of getting out on the court or onto the field and competing in that way. And I was like, man, I miss that feeling, and I want to. How can I get that? So I've then talked to a lot of the coaches that I've had and people I really respect and looked up to as coaches, and just decided, hey, let's give it a shot. And I knew I needed to go off and work on my graduate degree, and was fortunate enough to start my coaching career in Michigan at Central Michigan University with their men's basketball program. I think I sent enough emails and voicemails. I finally got a response from one of the assistant coaches there. We'll meet with you if you stop contacting us. So then I had a meeting, and they gave me something to do, and I did it, and then they gave me something else to do, and I just kind of hung around and helped out, and then was offered an assistantship my second year, and from then on out it's been coaching. So I didn't realize it was more about the competition at first, but then once I got into it and the types of relationships that you can build with your student athletes, the type of learning and the growth and the development that you see throughout those college years are really special. And being still relatively young in my career, I don't have a ton of kind of graduates yet, but just the athletes at Luther that I graduated and are now getting married or working their jobs, and really seeing them from when they were 17, 18-year-old freshmen to now being adults and doing the things that they love to do is really special.
Now, you're no stranger to being a head coach. You spent 2 years at Centenary College in Louisiana.
Yep.
Talk a little bit about your progression from an assistant at Central Michigan, assistant at Luther, to being a head coach at Centenary, and then eventually coming here.
Yeah, going to Centenary was a great step for me. We had a great group of girls that really worked hard and wanted to be a part of changing a culture and changing a program. I knew I needed to go and be a head coach and learn what that was like to get a job like St. Mary's, like I'm here now. There was a whole lot that I had to learn there. That, you read books or hear speakers, and you talk to head coaches about all the things that they have to do or what it is to be a head coach, and you're like, oh, okay, I mean, I can do that. But then once you get there and you're making all the decisions, you're managing the budget, and you're in charge of everything that's going on, and then you're building a program. It was a lot of hours, a lot of work, but it was really rewarding. And there's a lot of great people there at Centenary. To be at Shreveport, Louisiana, in a big city was a lot of fun too. We had a lot of good support, and definitely a great learning experience, and it put me in a position to be here at St. Mary's.
And some great success too.
Right.
You guys were very successful at Centenary.
Yeah, I feel like we made some big strides. I think the future was very bright and is very bright for that program. We brought some good recruiting classes in those 2 years, and did some good things to qualify for the conference tournament for the first time on merit in school history, to have a winning record in our home arena for the first time since the 80s. It was a special time, and I'll never forget the 2 years there at Centenary.
Well, and it's kind of an opposite experience coming here, right? Because you don't have to change the culture, you don't have to try to build a winning program. You're walking into a winning program. So how does that mentality change, if at all, for you? Yeah,
I think the culture piece is maybe we're not 100% shifting things, but we have to adapt to my style and how I view the program and our style of play, how we are on and off the floor. So there's pressure here as far as, hey, this team has won. This program has won the last 8 years. Don't mess it up type deal. But also that's exciting to as a competitor to be in one of the best women's basketball leagues in the country, to have a program that has shown that they can be successful and compete with the best of the best in this conference, and to have a roster full of players that are hungry and ready to do that. In a relatively young roster at that, we have 15 freshmen or sophomores in our program, so that's exciting. Stepping into a program that's got good leadership in the senior class, and then a talented junior, and then to have a young group that we're going to be able to carry through and continue to add to and move forward.
From a competitive person that you are, do you feel that pressure to make sure to keep things where they're at? Because you are coming in brand new, and like Dean had said, and everybody knows, this has been a successful program. Six conference tournaments in the last 7 years. Do you feel pressure to keep it there, or do you just come in and say, hey, you know what, we're going to do the best we can do with what we've got and just let it roll? Yeah,
I think maybe the pressure, maybe not feeling it as much, but just understanding that there are expectations for our success right away. At Centenary, we walked in and it was, hey, build the program. Let's win a few games here and there. Let's be competitive. I remember one of our first home games. It was a 6-point loss, and everybody's coming up and shaking my hand like, oh, they played so great and doing this. And I was like, man, it's coming from Luther. We had back-to-back 20-win seasons. We were just I was used to kind of that culture there, and so it was a shift. We're here. I think we are expected to be competitive right now. And I think we have the group that can be competitive right now. Now it's about kind of putting those process and that system in place. That it's not that we're focusing on winning every single game. It's focused, hey, these are the things that we need to do to put us in the best chance to win. So as a competitor, yeah, we want to win, and it's exciting. But it's also, hey, that kind of fuels us to work that much harder and to get after it just a little bit more.
I mean, anytime you switch head coaching positions, it's a big decision, right?
Yeah.
How much did your familiarity with the Midwest, having coached at Luther as an assistant, influence your decision to apply and then eventually accept the position?
Yeah, I think that was huge. The fact that I was familiar with St. Mary's back when Coach Pearson was here, and the respect I had for her program and how she operated. We competed against them when I was at Luther, and being kind of an hour and a half south, when we keep tabs on some of our closest competitors there, and I always knew the St. Mary's players were going to play hard. They were going to get after it, and knowing the Winona community a little bit, that this is a place where you could kind of find a home and to have off the court life be just as good as the time on the court. So yeah, that was a big decision for me. And what I was really looking for was a place to call home, and with Winona being supportive of women's basketball and being a small community that's close to a lot of different areas. I have family. My parents live in Michigan. So to get closer to them as well was a special thing for me, and definitely as a head coach at Centenary, we were building in the right direction. I was excited about the future, but sometimes some things are just too good to pass up, and this was just a win-win for me with the success of the program and the talent on the roster, and then St. Mary's with the positivity and the growth and all the newness with Father Burns. And the excitement about athletics, it was a total package win for me.
You know, I've been doing this for 24 years, so things kind of get into a routine or whatnot. But you come in, you don't know anybody. You know, you may know people from the interview process or whatever, but you're starting completely from scratch. Can you kind of tell us how that's gone? How do you kind of get yourself into the group of coaches? And I mean, that's got to be a pretty daunting task when you really don't know anybody.
Yeah, I think, I mean, with coaches at least, I mean, we're all we have the same vision, we have the same kind of ideals and things that we want to do. All of our programs are in different places, but we're all competitors. We all care about our student athletes. We all care about St. Mary's. So there's definitely that common ground there. For me, wanting to learn and wanting to get to know we have a lot of really great coaches that have been here for a long time. We've got some really great coaches that have been here just for a short amount of time, and everybody's been very supportive and helpful for me. My first day of work was the first day of classes, so it still feels kind of like August, except when I go outside. It's been a blur, it's been a whirlwind. So I think for us getting right into the season has helped with that as well. And definitely once the season's over and the spring starts and can kind of slow down a little bit, can definitely continue to get more acclimated into Winona and into the St. Mary's community.
Yeah, David, one more question in this segment, and then when we come back, we'll ask you more about this year's team. But I think this is a good segue question because you didn't start until August. What was your approach with the team? Because obviously you're coming in new, they knew nothing about you coming in, so you've got to develop some buy-in with all of the returning players. So what was the process you went through to do that, besides, of course, having the candy jar in your office, which was a good move on your part?
Which is a good candy jar, too.
Yeah. Sometimes I visit the candy jar too much, but I think just starting to build relationships with them, to let them know who I am, what I'm about, why I want to be at St. Mary's, why I'm excited about coaching them, what our plans are for this season and beyond. And just being genuine. I think that that relationship building process can't be forced. You have to build trust. You got to continue to always be yourself. And then I can't be anybody else or a previous coach that was here or somebody else that they've had. But hey, I'm going to be me. This is who I am. This is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to do it. And then I'm going to take input and feedback. I think our program is going to be built on this is not just my program, it's our program, and that all of our players have input. We all communicate about things. We speak regularly about, hey, what's working and what's not, and we're going to go from there. And to have the group that we've had has been really special. I haven't had any concerns or issues. Everybody's been really excited and supportive, and everybody's bought in, and we're moving forward in a good direction.
So David, thanks for letting us focus on you
on
the first part of the show. When we come back, we'll talk about the team that's next here on HBC's Cardinals Nest.
Describe the best thing you ever ate.
It's good.
Woo! Dynamite. Yes.
Hashtag worth it.
Ridiculous. OMG, OMG.
Whoa. Wham.
What?
That's what I'm talking about.
Hey. Boom.
All new, the best thing I ever ate. Thursday at 9.
You're gonna need sweatpants.
Cooking Channel. Stay hungry.
Be sure to check out US Golf TV, where you are going to see golf products that you have never seen before. You're also going to see golf tips from some of the leading instructors around the country that are truly changing the way people are teaching the game and challenging the status quo. Also, you're going to see fitness tips that are revolutionizing the way PGA Tour pros are training their body and swinging the golf club. If you want something different, if you're looking for some new information, US Golf TV has it. Be sure to check your local listings. US Golf TV, we've got you covered.
Schultz Strategic Gunworks, Sugarloaf Ford, and Brewski's Bar and Grill in Utica would like to remind you to make safe choices when getting behind the wheel of a vehicle.
Driving while under the influence of alcohol or drugs is the #1 cause of teen deaths. Distracted driving increases your chances to have a traffic accident. Cell phones and passengers are both distractions to a teen driver. Drowsiness impairs driving performance and reaction time, thereby increasing the likelihood of having a car accident.
And we are back on the Cardinals Nest. Dean Beckman, Donnie Netto, and David Foley, our new women's basketball coach for the Cardinals. And we learned all about David in the first segment. Now we're going to learn about this year's team, the 2018-19 St. Mary's Women's Cardinals. And David, you already had an exhibition game. It was your first chance to see your team against some new competition, different competition, and it was against Division II Winona State. So as you get ready to start your tournament play this weekend, tell us your thoughts on how the exhibition opener went.
Yeah, I was pleased with our effort, with our mentality. I think we had some really positive stretches within the game, and that's kind of early in the season. How do we continue to build on each day, each practice, each game to be more consistent? So it was a lot of positivity for me as far as some of the players that are a little bit more inexperienced with our freshmen that came in and two of them led us in scoring, to our sophomores that are kind of stepping into expanded roles, and then even our seniors that came in and were kind of with this new season and new leadership being put on them and really being asked a lot of our seniors as far as going out there and being voices on the floor and keeping our team positive and engaged. So a lot of good things. The 12-0 start, going down 12-0, wasn't the ideal. And I appreciate you pointing that out in the recap afterwards on the website, the first line. But hey, that's we need to learn to overcome adversity and how to stay positive and stay. I mean, basketball is a game of runs, and they made their shots. We didn't in that first couple minutes there. And yes, we could have been better defensively, but they had some really talented one-on-one players that just made shots over us and did some of the things. We watched film together as a team yesterday, and we looked at a lot of defensive possessions where we did exactly what we wanted to do, and they were just a little bigger and stronger and shot the ball over the top of us and made some good plays. So our big message is, hey, being consistent in what we do and focused on that process of, hey, this is how we're going to get stops, this is how we're going to play, and hey, sometimes good offensive players are going to make shots over us or make a play, and we've got to be okay with that. So a lot of good growth for us.
You know, you talk a little bit about adjustments. How big of an adjustment is it for these players to go from Coach Paul or I last 3 years, to you this year? Is there going to be some time here where they're going to just need to, you know, the terminology is probably different, your style of play is probably different. How long do you give them to adjust from last year to this year in terms of
I think we've seen some growth there, and I think in those moments where we're really fighting adversity, where we're a little bit tired or we're a little bit maybe the teams are going on runs, is where we're going to have to really stay focused on, hey, what our change in defensive philosophy is, what our change in offensive philosophy is. Our previous coaching staff did a great job coaching them how to play basketball the right way. We're very fundamental. So for us as a staff, we're trying to just loosen things up a little bit and play a little quicker and a little more pressure on defense. But fundamentally, they're sound. Our terminology, philosophies are a little bit different in different ways, but they're very coachable. They understand what we're trying to do and how we're trying to do it. So we're going to be patient with them, but also we're going to push them as well. That, hey, I mean, what happened the last 3 years, 2 years, 1 year is gone, and this is what we're doing, and we're going to respect the success that was had in the past, but our program is moving forward in a new direction here as far as what we're going to look like on the court.
So your exhibition opener against Winona State, do you think playing a quality opponent like that, do you learn more? I mean, there's different thought processes on who you want to play in an exhibition opener. Obviously, you've got film to look at now of things that went well, some things that didn't go well. So give us your thoughts on who you play in an exhibition opener.
I think that second preseason game against that Winona game was good for us. The Northern Sun is a very, very talented league. They've been a very good program. Scott does a great job with them. Has coached there for a long time and been very successful. Great recruiter, great coaching staff. So it's good for us to have that little bit of a test as far as maybe they're a little bit stronger and more athletic at certain spots. And so yeah, I was very happy with playing a higher level of competition like that for us. A lot of people, and myself included in our league, believe that, hey, we're right there on the cusp of being kind of in that Division II quality as some of the play that we see in the MIAC. So it's good for us to get out and see that. Our first preseason game was against a very high quality opponent as well, a Division III opponent in a scrimmage. So we had 2 opportunities to play against 2 very quality, well-coached teams. Yeah. And as a coach, wanting to see film and wanting to see, hey, how can we respond, not just against each other in practice, but against a quality opponent that's not just going to be undisciplined and go out and just kind of play wild and free, but they're going to be well-coached and have a system in place so that we can learn to adjust and read those things on the fly was really good for us.
You know, I know you're going to probably say you're never ready, but October 15th to now, you've played a scrimmage and you've played an exhibition game. I got to imagine that the ladies are ready to actually get the official game started this weekend. That's a lot of practice, a lot of time in between. You know, we look at our men's and women's hockey teams, they played 6 games already. You guys are just opening up this weekend. I got to imagine they're chomping at the bit to see Simpson on Friday night.
For sure. I think we're ready, and this weekend's going to be two quality coach, 2 good programs. They're going to test us in a lot of different ways, but yes, our team we're ready to go. Are we going to be 100% polished in what we're going to look like in January and February? Probably not, but we're going to go out there and play hard and compete and play together and do the things that we want to do as a team.
So we can't talk about this year's team without, of course, mentioning some individual players. And the big returning player that just got off the volleyball season is Brandy Blattner. So has to be nice as a new head coach coming in. You've got senior leadership with a player of Brandy Blattner's caliber.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And Brandy has had a remarkable career here at St. Mary's, volleyball and basketball. She had a great high school career as well. I remember seeing her play in the state tournament when I was an assistant at Luther. I was like, man, who was that? Oh, she's going to St. Mary's. Like, oh, man. No, I'm very excited about her senior season here and what she's done in just a week from volleyball, not touching a basketball since the summer, basically, on a consistent basis, and to come in right away and just elevate our level of intensity, of athleticism, and her physicality, and where she's at finesse and skill-wise right now is only going to continue and improve as she has the ball in her hands and is with us. But just a remarkable young woman as well. Really works hard in the classroom and is a great example for our younger players and works just tirelessly in rebounding and what she does in the post and as adding perimeter skills and some of that as well. So very excited to see where Brandy and the rest of our team can go this season.
You know, and we talk about Brandy just about every time we're on the nest. How do you not? She is an outstanding individual, but she doesn't do this alone, and she's got a great supporting cast. Talk a little bit about the upperclassmen who you're going to look for to maybe step into some different roles than they've had in the past.
Yeah, I think Kirsten Keefe is one of our starting point guard right now, as our primary ball handler, one of our most vocal leaders on the floor. So maybe not a different role for her. She's kind of been in that spot for a year or two now, but just elevating her intensity and her vocal leadership this year has been fun to see. We've spent a lot of time as a coaching staff with Kirsten and Mary Winthrow, our other senior, mixed in with Brandy, as far as, hey, this is what we need from our seniors. This is what leadership is going to look like for us, and this is what not just leading by example, but being a vocal leader and being an encourager and being out there and motivating our team and holding people accountable. And Kirsten especially has done a really, really good job with that. We're continuing to find ways for her to be more kind of efficient and aggressive on offense. She's a really talented player. Had a chance to see her play in high school as well, right down in Chatfield. And just her growth as a basketball player has been outstanding, and that's a credit to her work that she's put into it. And both Brandy, Kirsten, and Mary, I told all three of them when I got here, I mean, this is one of my goals, is that make sure that they have the best senior year possible. And yes, we want to be successful on the court and win a lot of games, but we also want to make sure that we're setting them up to be successful when they're done here. So me only being here a few months with them, I've really appreciated their buy-in and their ownership of this program.
And then how about some of the other players, the freshmen through juniors? Because certainly Coach Pollari did not leave the cupboard bare, did he? There's a lot of good returning players at the sophomore, junior level, but then a lot of good freshmen coming in too. So let's hear about some of them.
Yeah, thanks for that, Brent. Yeah, the roster, there's a ton of talent. Just looking at our 2 preseason games here, trying to figure out what our rotations are going to be, who's going to play in what spots, and there's just competition, which is great for us in practice as well. That means really good players might not be getting some of the playing time that they maybe deserve, or if we're in different situations, but we've got some really talented young players. Michelle Reamer is our lone junior, a 6-foot guard, has really shown a lot of improvement. She can play perimeter and inside for us, so we're excited about her. And then in the sophomore class, in the sophomore class, I mean, Hallie Schmeling has emerged as just a true point guard, just a tough, really talented defender, and can really lead our team. I think with her and Kirsten kind of running the point for us, and a little two-headed monster there, are a good change of pace, and just do a lot of good things well for our team. And then looking at our freshman class, we've got five freshmen in that group. Brooklyn Paulson was a bright spot for us against Winona State, just a pure three-point shooter at 5'10", 5'11", really smooth on the perimeter. And then Jada Biermeyer as well, who led us in scoring, is a 6'1", kind of versatile post player that can step out a little bit. But yeah, that freshman and sophomore group is going to be good for a lot of years for us.
You know, one of the things that stands out with this team, if you look just at the roster, is you have some size, and that's something that we've had a little bit of size in years past, but this year you've got a lot of size, and that's got to be a positive heading into conference play.
For sure, it is. Being able to play into the post on offense, and then defensively being able to be a little long and pressure people with our length, and having people on the back end that can change shots and be able to rebound and then play out of transition is exciting. I've always had a little bit smaller teams in my coaching career, so we're having to adjust some of our principles. Maybe won't be as full court oriented for the majority of the season, but still being able to be versatile and control the paint and dominate inside. And I think that's what on Saturday, our big run, what happened when we shifted away from just focusing on three-point shots to getting the ball inside to Brandy, to Rachel Kettle, who I didn't mention, who's another really talented sophomore who had a great day on Saturday. That went on to really change the tempo and the pace of the game for us with her athleticism. But yeah, to have size and length, I mean, basketball is a game of space, and if you can take up space, I mean, that's a good thing for us.
So I'm going to throw out Abby Winter's name too, because I don't want Tony getting on your case.
That's true. That's true. So only been here a couple months. There's
a lot of names.
Yes, Abby coming off a great freshman year. We're excited about where she's going to be, and just her mentality and toughness, and she fits right in to that length and size equation. She can also stretch the floor, and she worked really hard this summer. Allegedly, right? I mean, we're not letting know that. And just a great personality. And all of our players.
Knowing Abby and the rest of the players, I think they did. So.
Right.
We're out of time, David. We got to run, but thanks for being on the show. Good luck this weekend, season opening tournament, and the rest of the year.
Thank you.
All right, that's the Cardinals Nest here on HBC TV 25.